negative odd that Man City's going to drop Porto there. John, did you get to catch any of Juve and Porto or Dortmund and Sevilla?
I didn't really watch a whole lot of the other games in the Champions League. Just didn't sync up with my calendar. But pretty wild that this is the first time since what was that year? I can't even remember who won the Champions League that year, but it was the last time that City and that Messi and Ronaldo were both out of the Champions League.
The joke he's trying to make is 2005. Yeah, so we'll just cut to the chase here.
Fine, whatever. Just don't let me be any.
JV Carragher already made this joke,
and that's why we love it there. Because who knows, man? And back then, Liverpool was not touted as the team to beat for that Champions League competition, and we aren't now either. So hey, that'd be impressive. That Dortmund Sevilla game, man, that just was crazy. Haaland just took it over, and I've never seen a sequence of events, and I tried to message you guys while it was happening, where Haaland scores a goal, gets called back, but he's given a penalty because of a foul that happened prior to the build-up of his original goal, then takes the penalty, it gets saved, the keeper trash talks him, but then it gets called back because the keeper's off his line early, they retake the penalty, Haaland scores it, the exact same spot, and then he taunts the keeper, and they both get yellow cards. And that's all in the span of 10 minutes of just insane action that was happening. And that game got heated, all over the place. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing what Haaland can bring to the next round. And not that I want to face Dortmund, but, Klopp going against his old club there, I think that could be interesting.
Who would you want to face? So, as it stands now, we got Porto, PSG, and Dortmund are through. City and Bayern are pretty much through. Mm-hmm. So now it's a toss-up between Real Madrid, Atalanta, as well as Chelsea and Atletico. I think both those ties are kind of up for grabs there. So I don't know who I'd want to face. I think obviously Porto would be seemingly the easiest tie, but I think City's already arranged for that.
I don't mind taking on PSG. I'd like to see how we handle PSG. I've said it a lot. You guys call me on it.
You're not a PSG believer. I know that, but Mbappe he scored a hat trick against Barca.
Yeah. I know.
To me, when we do our best in the Champions League is when we face off against those teams, those big teams. There's no coincidence to me that we went on to win the Champions League after having to face
Chelsea,
Porto, Barcelona, Bayern Munich,
Tottenham Hotspur.
That was what it was. But it's no coincidence to me that we have these moments in Europe that we look back on as being iconic, because when Liverpool play in Europe, it just kind of hits different. We end up playing these huge moments. So to play against a City or a Bayern or a PSG,
I don't want City.
Yeah, I don't want City either. I guess
I don't want City either because
sorry, I just swallowed water the wrong way. I don't want City because there's just too much. There's too much Premier League skeletons in the closets there. We're just going to revert to our Premier League selves and not play our Champions League selves, and that's what we'll worry about.
And we can't damage their bus on the way in. So
exactly. Lots of going against us on that one. So.
too many cards stacked against us on that one.
Yeah. But genuinely, to play up against one of those teams is just this team should definitely beat Liverpool.
And at this point, you're going to have to beat the best to be the best. So it doesn't really matter where we're going to get it there.
I'm personally hoping for Real Madrid myself, because this weekend Real Madrid, and I think it would be a bit of a sweet redemption on that. So
that'd be interesting. How about some Europa League, though? We want to play some other teams.
Our future, perhaps.
Not a whole lot of games I want to chat in there too much about, but I think we got to give a little love to Stevie G, man. His Rangers holding Slavia Prague to a 1-1 draw in Prague and setting himself up all right there. So they might make some noise in here. I didn't get to watch the game. I watched the highlights. It did look like Slavia Prague controlled the majority of the game. But, hey, result's a result. And I don't know if they're going to be able to play in Scotland or not. I don't know what the rules are for them. But nonetheless, here's hoping Stevie G gets some more pedigree in there and gets some more solid experience, because that question is going to come up a little later now.
Well, I think we got to give a little attention to the Man United AC Milan tie.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys go to that one.
At Old Trafford, AC Milan has 3 goals disallowed in the first half. Harry Maguire misses a complete, screamer. And then they go up 1-0 on, I can't remember who it was, but it was his first ever Man United goal. And it was
it was the kid.
Right off the bench. And then in the last seconds of the game, AC Milan equalized with the vital away goal. So that was really entertaining. And obviously we hope that AC Milan takes care of business there and takes out United. So.
I'd love to see Zlatan get into the next match there. Was he injured that game? Or
he was injured, so he wasn't playing,
Yeah. Who was working the VAR room that game?
Sir Alex Ferguson, I'm pretty sure. But yeah,
well, obviously there were some images going around about that one for sure.
Sir Alex Ferguson, maybe Roy Keane, who apparently wants to take over at Celtic.
Oh, Jesus. I want to see that touchline Ranger at the Old Firm Derby.
That would be phenomenal.
So let's move it on here, guys. I got some quotes. I got some games. I got a few other things to roll out here. First up, I want to bring back a quote here. Regarding our boy Stevie G, the Liverpool fans don't want me to be the manager. They want Klopp to continue to be the manager, and I'm totally with them. So Stevie G just said that this past week. I want you guys to give me a like, dislike, or hey, even a super like if you want on this quote. And just to add on, has your opinion changed on whether or not Stevie G should become the next Liverpool manager? I don't mean next season. I mean after the contract expire a couple years down the road, because we talked about this before, and I can't remember which one of you, or maybe it was both of you, were kind of like, no, I don't think he'd be the right one. Pep Linders, Nagelsmann was pretty much the selection I think both of you guys were going with. I was the hopeless romantic that hoping for Stevie G to come back. So, Ben, you like this quote here, and what do you think the prospects might be?
Yeah, so I like it because my opinion on Gerrard is that, well, I think he has the capacity to be a great manager. I think he needs some time in a more competitive league to get himself up there. I mean, I think the reality with Scotland is you're in a 2-horse race. So, yeah, he dethroned Celtic, but while that is impressive, I mean, I think he should try his hand in maybe the Championship, maybe elsewhere in Europe, or maybe even the Premier League. You know, a team like I'm throwing it out there, like Newcastle or Burnley or something like that. You know, one of those teams that are always kind of fighting against relegation. I think he needs to be somewhere a little more competitive, because if he makes the jump from Scotland to try to manage Liverpool, my concern is it's going to be like a Frank Lampard going from Derby to Chelsea, where you're going from such a small stakes team to such a massively high stakes team that you're just setting yourself up some disappointment there.
I feel like you're totally undercutting the Europa League there, Ben.
That's true. I mean, that is the greatest.
You are literally the one preaching that.
All right, if Rangers can manage to win the Europa League, I will be the biggest Stevie G in.
I will hold you to that comment there. John, what do you think, man?
I still think that there should be a stopgap between Klopp and Steven Gerrard, but I do think, like, you know, if Stevie G does go on to, let's just put him in Italy, you know, let's just say he coaches a team the level of, but not necessarily Roma, and does well with them, and then
Champions League experience, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. The time comes, he's able to parlay that into a Liverpool job. I wouldn't be upset. I mean, the difference between Stevie G and Frank Lampard is Stevie's won something.
Cheap shots.
I will take them all day on Super Frank.
I think the Frank Lampard thing was let's play in on nostalgia, because things are tough at Chelsea. So I think there's a couple of, I think ideally Frank Lampard wouldn't have come in that quickly at Chelsea. I think they would have liked kind of a Stevie G thing where he has a little more experience.
So they went with the nostalgia of bringing in Frank Lampard, and then they went with the nostalgia of dumping a manager. It was just a nostalgic moment for Chelsea.
That is a perfect Chelsea
tradition.
Perfect Chelsea year right there.
There you go. I'm kind of on the same page as you guys, but I think he's still got enough time. It's 2021. He's got 2-3 more years at least. I think if Rangers can hold on to it and make some noise in Europa League, and you can see the growth and like the drive of the team playing well, then I think I wouldn't discount it, and I think I could be on that page, because what are you going to do, wait another 5 years at that point for him? So I think I might be too long there. Let's get him in his prime. Let's get him in his heyday, kind of at his peak there. But again, a lot can change in a couple of years there.
I mean, are you suggesting that that winning one, maybe let's say 2 Rangers titles is being in his prime?
Depending on his age, and well, that's what I mean. Get his prime. He's won a couple things, and then his prime is with us. with Liverpool where he wins all the big stuff. Because getting them on the way down, if he goes somewhere else, say he goes to Italy, he wins.
Go to Lazio, get himself into the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
He wins the Champions League with Lazio, or he wins the Serie A, and then he comes to Liverpool on his way down, perhaps. But it's not the same as players, obviously. So there's a lot of different things that could happen in there. But I would be, put it this way, I'm more inclined today that he would be ready in a couple of years to take on Liverpool than I was last year, which is, I don't know, kind of not really a hot take on anything. But
I just think like Stevie is really, really young. So
fair enough.
Still quite young. Like his prime as a manager could still be like a decade and a half away.
Yeah, he's only 7 years older than Nagelsmann, and everyone's loving Nagelsmann for being so young. So yeah, that's fair.
And I mean, how old Mourinho when he was dominating with Milan, Porto, and then Chelsea? I mean, if you want to, because I do appreciate Mourinho from that
I still
time.
think Mourinho is actually 45, but managing Chelsea and Real Madrid will do that to you.
I'm not surprised at all. All right, let's move into a different segment I had here. Do you think this will happen? Or do you want this to happen? Or, hey, maybe both. Now, first one we kind of answered already. Is Gerrard going to be the next manager? So, John, do you think it's going to happen? Do you want it to happen, or both?
Neither or none, I guess. I don't think he's going to be the next manager. I think he will be someday, but I don't think he's going to be next.
All right, Ben?
Yeah, I totally agree with it on that. I think there's going to be a stopgap. Maybe Pep Linders, as we talked about, or someone else. I just don't think it'll go right to him.
I think it might actually happen. I think, though, they could fall into that nostalgia trap and really push it. Now, granted, I don't think it would be the worst decision in the world. All right, guys. So do you think this is going to happen? Do you want it to happen? Both? Or as John so eloquently pointed out, I guess neither is a possibility. Next year's center backs. Let's assume we got Van Dijk and Gomez back. We got Phillips and Kabak as their backups. And Matip as the, man of glass potentially being in there. Do you think that's going to be our center back depth next year, John?
I think that there's probably at this point a little chance that we'll bring in, if we do. I'll put it this way: if we do execute the option to sign Kabak, I don't think we necessarily need to sign another center back.
I would agree with that. And who knows about Ben Davies at this point, if he's ever going to actually suit up there. Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I would agree, but I really think it's time to offload Joel Matip. I think we got some good years out of him, but I feel like he's just the physicality of the Premier League and just how susceptible he is to injury. I think we should just toss him to France, to Germany. You'll probably get $30 million off him. If we sent him to
I think that's a lot.
Oh, I think he's.
I mean, a good player. These a just kind of good player, a player who hasn't won a title, who hasn't won a Champions League. That commands $20 million easy.
Right,
and he is good.
And he's a Champions League winner. Like
he is
a Premier League winner. Like he's not nothing.
When he is healthy, he is very good.
Yeah.
I love him to death, but I totally agree.
I think you send him to a team like Sevilla. Really, any other league other than the Premier League, and I think he'll do.
He can
really
probably
well.
do quite well.
But yeah.
I want this to happen. I like Phillips and Kabak right now, and I'd like them as deputies to Gomez and Van Dijk and Matip. Yeah, I would be surprised if he sticks around. But let's flip up to the forwards. So Jota's back in here. Minamino is probably going to come back in off loan next year. Who knows? Maybe Harvey Elliott's fighting for position. Do we think our next year depth is going to be Mane, Salah, Firmino, and Jota? Or do you think one of them might be on the way out, John?
I have not seen anything to me that has indicated any serious thought on the part of the club or on the part of any of those players that they want to leave. The closest thing that we've gotten is purported friend of Salah saying that he was kind of angry that he wasn't chosen as captain.
That was a weird one, yeah.
3 months ago, and we haven't talked about it since. I just don't think we were talking about it earlier that Salah's been linked to Real Madrid in that he's a good player and Madrid has money, but beyond that, I haven't seen anything reasonable. And I think you've got another. These are current front three are players that could play to a high level for another 5 years. So I'm comfortable keeping them around for at least another one.
Well, the way you guys were talking about Firmino earlier, maybe you guys are saying lose him there. But what do you think there, Ben? Do you think that's going to be our front 3 and 4, or one of them might be on the way out?
Really quick, I think if this Premier League, these past couple of games in the Premier League really have shown us anything, it's that our front 3 are not really doing what they used to do, and that could be for a variety of reasons. But I think that any elite team whether it be your Barca's, your Real Madrid's, your Man City's, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When things aren't working perfectly, you shuffle it up. So sticking with the front three into next season, I think would be a mistake. I think we talked